Welcome to Winners and Losers, the show where we look at the highs and lows from around world football this weekend. I'm joined as usual by Patrick.
Let's kick it off.
Our first winner of the weekend comes out of Spain, and it had to be. It's Barcelona. An amazing week for them. They beat Rayo 5-1 midweek on Thursday, then went to Eibar and won 4-0 on Sunday. Just keeps getting better for the MSN.
Well, they've now extended their unbeaten record in all competitions to 36. That breaks the 34 record of Real Madrid from 1988-89, and it's built on the back of this phenomenal attack.
Yeah, I mean, the MSN, they just keep getting better. It's now 100 goals in all competitions, beating, at this stage, they were on 75 last year, so they've blitzed that already. Chasing down the 122 they scored in all competitions all season. How many can they score?
Well, we have no idea. I mean, this is now the 8th season in which Messi has scored more than 20 goals, and this is with the missing penalties, seemingly left and right. So you'd find it difficult to put any ceiling on how many they can score this season.
I mean, talking about penalties though, they've had 14 in their last 28 games, which is an astonishing stat. They're not very good at taking them, I think that's fair to say, but they certainly get awarded them a lot. That takes nothing away from the special players they've got, and Suarez in particular. Well,
the selflessness of Suarez has been really crucial to building this Barcelona team. He's now got 42 goals this season, but he's got 12 assists just in La Liga. And that really says something about the sort of player he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in my opinion anyway, it raises the question, can he challenge Messi for the Ballon d'Or this year? If he's got that many assists, he's got more goals in La Liga than Messi, he's got to be right up there. People talk about Neymar being the Ballon d'Or contender. Maybe it could actually be Suarez.
And with him only one goal behind Cristiano Ronaldo after Ronaldo scored 4 this weekend, then you've got to admit that Suarez has been one of the 3 best players in the world this season.
Definitely, but will Suarez win the Ballon d'Or this year? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Our first loser of the weekend is Manchester United. They had been on a run of 4 wins in all competitions, but they lost 1-0 away to Tony Pulis's West Brom. Joe, what did you think?
Terrible, terrible day for Louis van Gaal. I mean, we talk about 4 games and they're getting into a bit of a stride, but realistically, it's Midtjylland, who they should be expected to beat, Shrewsbury, who they've got to beat, Arsenal, who didn't turn up on the day, and Watford, who they should have lost to. Scraped by with that lucky, well, it's not lucky, it's a great free kick by Mata, but a lucky performance. And it was just more of the same standard Louis van Gaal. You put together a bit of a momentum and then it all crumbles down.
Well, they just seemed incapable of creating anything. And while they did suffer from the red card for Juan Mata, they only created 1 shot on target in the entire 90 minutes, and that came in the 3rd minute from Anthony Martial.
Well, I mean, that Juan Mata sending off, you mentioned it there briefly, that's the first of his club career, and it was quite frankly disgraceful. The first booking to get booked in the 6th minute for blocking a quick free kick, no need at all. You've got to be reliant on your defenders. This was on the edge of West Brom's box. You've got to be reliant on your defenders being able to head a ball clear. His second one from Fletcher is appalling. No need to make the challenge. And this is a man who was captain last week. You should be more of a leader than that.
Well, especially in this inexperienced side. Man United's injury crisis is absolutely appalling. But their goal difference at home, +12, their goal difference away, -2. It's not good enough to challenge for the Champions League.
It's just not good enough. And whoever comes in the summer, if it's Mourinho or Giggs takes over, or even if Louis sustains his role, it's going to be another massive rebuild job.
Well, one way or another, Man United had the chance to go level with Man City this weekend. They're now 2 points behind West Ham, so we'll have to see where they end up come the end of the season.
Talking of West Ham, and they go straight into our winners category, an amazing comeback against Everton, building on the back of that 1-0 against Spurs. It just keeps getting better for Slaven Bilic.
Well, he's really instilled some backbone in this team. This is the first time they've come back from 2-0 down to win since the year 2000, and Dimitri Payet is the inspirational player. He's the first Hammer to get into double figures for assists since Di Canio in 99-2000.
I mean, we knew he was going to be special when he came in. Most chances created, of course, in Europe last season, beating Messi. But I've also been very, very impressed by Michail Antonio, who's come in. He's scored 4 headers from his 4 headers on target. He looks lethal in the air, which nobody was really expecting. They were expecting a winger who was going to be really pacey like he was at Forest. But I think he surprised everyone.
Well, there's strength all over the squad now, and the player that I was really impressed by over the weekend was Adrian in goal. I thought his penalty save was the moment that changed the match.
Yeah, a lot of people will say that Kevin Morales' sending off was the moment that changed the match, but that actually happened at 1-0. And they then went on to score another goal and miss a penalty, Everton, and it was that penalty save from Adrian that really galvanised the team. You saw Mark Noble pick everyone up, as he does, pulled everyone together, and he started to run the game from midfield. And there's now a lot of calls for Noble to be included in the England squad, building up to the Euros.
Well, there does seem to be a vacancy in the centre of the park for England, and with his tirelessness and hard work, then I'm sure he could contribute.
Yeah, and West Ham are now 2 points ahead of Manchester United, but can they sustain it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Our next loser is Borussia Dortmund. Now, it might seem a little harsh, but they had a chance to close that 5-point gap that Bayern had before the weekend, but they drew 0-0 at home, and it looks like the run-in is not going to be terribly exciting. Joe?
Yeah, it was a really disappointing day for Tuchel. A big chance to capitalise on some poor Bayern Munich form. And Borussia Dortmund are unbeaten in 2016. They've got a 16-point gap to third place, although that is Hertha Berlin, who are closer to the relegation zone than they are the top of the table. So, Tuchel, it's a bad day at the office, but you are going to finish in the top 2.
Well, I thought that Dortmund actually had a chance to win it. Marco Reus got through at one point from a brilliant pass from Aubameyang, but really both sides pressed each other very heavily. Bayern apparently had the lowest possession at halftime they've had during the Pep Guardiola era.
That's quite phenomenal. I mean, BVB have actually taken 2 points more than Bayern Munich since Bayern beat them 5-1 a while ago now. And I think that summarises how Tuchel's kind of reinvigorated this team, brought back a bit of that Klopp-esque love for the game, the passion with the fans. And this is a big chance for them. They've missed out, so they have to go in our loser category.
Well, they've re-established that duopoly in the Bundesliga. Bayern have got a plus 46 goal difference. Dortmund have got plus 34. Nobody else even gets into double figures. But Dortmund have got Spurs in the Europa League, and Bayern have got a big game against Juventus. So, will we see 2 German winners in the European competitions? Let us know in the comments.
Bayern Munich might have a 5-point lead at the top of the Bundesliga, but Leicester do as well in the Premier League. I never thought I'd say it. Leicester are going to win the Prem, aren't they?
It certainly looks that way. We thought they might struggle against these defensive teams, the one that would just dig in and bunker. But they've had 65% of the possession against West Brom. They've had over 50% in this game. Both times they've managed to get decent results and pull further away from the pack. As you say, 5 points above Spurs, 8 points above Arsenal now.
8 points above Arsenal. And yet again, it was the little magician Mahrez who unlocked the door. Stunning finish. He's probably going to get picked off in the summer. But for now, they've got him. How good is he and how good has he been?
He's been absolutely phenomenal. It's an historic season for him. Since 2010, only 12 players have managed to get into double figures for assists and goals in the Premier League. Mahrez is one of them. He's 24 and he's at Leicester. That's pretty impressive.
That is amazing. But he did hobble off with an injury, and there's a few question marks whether he's going to be fit on the weekend. I know Claudio Ranieri has come out and said he definitely will be. But how big of a blow would it be for him to be injured?
It'd be really difficult. They've won 31 points away from home this season. That's 5 more than any other team. And you really struggle to create away from home without your chief kind of inspirational spark. So without Mahrez, they may struggle in the run-in.
But can Leicester win the league? It now seems likely, unbelievably. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Our next losers this week are Tottenham Hotspur. They failed to close the gap on Leicester. It remains 5 points. Spurs drew 2-2 at home with an Arsenal who were down to 10 men after Francis Coquelin's silly red card. Joe?
There wasn't a particular winner out of this game, but Spurs were definite losers against a 10-man Arsenal side that had capitulated at Old Trafford, especially after turning it around that wonderful, wonderful Harry Kane goal. Pochettino will have been expecting a win. They really needed that win. That would have been title over for Arsenal. They'd have pushed themselves up, chasing down Leicester if you're a Spurs fan. But at the end of the day, they fell well short against the top 4 team yet again.
And we constantly talk about Arsenal as bottlers, about struggling against the top teams, but Arsenal have 11 points in 5 games against the other teams in the top 4 this season. Spurs have 9 points in 6.
Yeah, that's not a good stat. And I thought on the day, there was a lot of Arsenal fans going in and going, Ospina this, Ospina that. And it was actually Hugo Lloris who let himself down on the day. I wouldn't want to say that he bottled it, but he wasn't good enough. If you're a title-chasing team, you're expecting your keeper to make majestic saves and really win you games. And Lloris lost. Well, he didn't lose them. He drew them that game effectively.
And with Sanchez and Ramsey scoring in that game, it looks like Arsenal might be coming back into form. They've got a decent run ahead of them. Will Arsenal finish above Spurs this season? Will Spurs go on and win the title? Let us know in the comments below.
Our final winner of the weekend comes out of Madrid, but it's not you, Real. It's Atleti, Diego Simeone in particular. A great result away at Valencia at the Mestalla, beating them 3-1. It doesn't get much better than that.
Well, Simeone continues to build solid defence after solid defence. They've only conceded 12 goals in 28 league games this season. Barcelona, by comparison, have conceded 22. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. And let's not forget about Antoine Griezmann as well going forward. 22 goals in 38 games now. Unbelievable stuff. He's been moved from a winger to a centre-forward by Simeone. Kind of shown by the fact he's only got 4 assists this season, which might surprise a few people at home. But he has been fantastic. But he's not the only man going forward that Simeone will want to thank, is he, Pat?
Fernando Torres scored a pivotal goal in his 300th appearance. He hasn't scored for Atleti at the Mestalla in 12 years, but he got one yesterday and he got his side the win.
It doesn't get much better than that for Simeone, but how long is he going to stay at Atleti? Surely there's European super clubs with more money calling. Will he be there next season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
So, those were our winners and losers for this weekend, but who should we have included? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you enjoyed this video, go and check out our best early retirees 11. There are some unbelievable names on that list.
Thanks for watching. Catch you next week.